Hello, Buddhas. This morning I had a very interesting experience. I was listening to some light language, a transmission actually, and I have been for the last, let's call it 4 or 5 days at least, dedicating most of my meditative practice and my thought patterns to opening my third eye. So today's video is going to kind of be a little bit about third eye related things, and from the perspective of someone who knows it's possible, has seen glimpses, but is not quite clear or open there yet. And I haven't seen that perspective before specifically on YouTube. Everyone's like, this is how you do it. But yeah, okay, that's how you do it. But like, where are you at? And how do you actually line up on this? Not a competition, I just want some baselines for my understanding. Also, excuse the lack of breath. I just got out of the gym and I'm kind of excited to talk about this. So, in the gym this morning, first thing I do is I go on the balcony on our gym, and our gym's on the 18th floor of my building. It's absolutely blessed, and it looks southeast, and I'm seeing the sun rising right over the cityscape. And there's a bank of clouds right above it, so there's like this gap, and I hit the timing just like perfectly. And while I'm doing this, I'm also listening to Soul Star Vision L doing a light transmission about opening your third eye and like letting the light in and all this stuff. And it was kind of euphoric because I was staring out at the sun. And in the morning time, again, I'm not a medical professional, but I've been told, and it doesn't seem to bother me, use at your own risk. In the morning time and in the evening time, right when the sun rises and sets, when it's going through the chronosphere at the right angles, it gets those beautiful colors, those really vivid oranges and etc., that palette. It's okay to look at it. If it hurts your eyes, stop. But for me, it doesn't, so I do. You know what? You're your own human. I'm not going to justify myself. I was doing that, and just this transmission was coming in through L, and I could just see the sun and hear the sun talking to me and just saying like, you're doing all right, keep doing what you're doing, but take off your damn glasses. So I took off my glasses, and then I was staring at the sun with that, and then I just saw this bloom effect almost of like just this radiating waves of radiation, which is really what the sun is, right? It's a radioactive death ball in the sky, just the right distance away from us based on its output of radiation for us to exist within its radiation sphere. Like, so much of this stuff we don't acknowledge on a daily basis. But anyways, I'm going off on a rant about how the universe works. I'm staring at this beautiful ball of fire in the sky and getting these light transmissions in, and I just like, it was just an emotional masterpiece of just raw, visceral, like I couldn't tell if I wanted to cry or if I wanted to scream or if I wanted to jump up and down for joy. And I just kind of stood there and let the emotions move around through my body and like out and in and around, and it was just like, oh, this is what it's like to be a human being. This is what life is kind of about. It's about experiencing these moments of existential bliss. I understand now why the guru is just gonna sit there and laugh at everything that's happening, because we got a kitty. We can't ignore the kitty. Every time the kitty comes over, kitty, come say hi. Mwah. Because we still live in a world with kitties, and as long as we live in a world with kitties, we're going to appreciate and love the little furballs. So, what was I saying? Oh yes, Existential Bliss brought on by light language and the sun. Highly recommend it. If you're one of those people that can't get up in the morning to watch a sunrise, fine. I'm not going to tell you how to run your life. But if you're one of those people that has any kind of interest whatsoever in expanding your horizons, figuratively and literally, get the fuck out of bed and go watch a sunrise. Like, what's wrong with you people? Live, okay? Go to bed early enough so that you can get up early enough. Whole other aside, we're not going to go off on a tangent here in this video forever. Put the glasses back on so I can see myself. All right, cool, we still look good. Super fresh. Now, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the sun is related to your eyes, right? Without the sun on this beautiful planet, all we would have is starlight, which is all we really have, but it would be less direct starlight. And unless there's and even a full moon wouldn't help because the full moon reflects the sun. So it would be very dark most of the time. period. Okay, you know the nights where you can't see the moon and it's just kind of like, wow, it's dark out here. Also, yeah, if you live in a city and you've never experienced actual darkness that's not like brought on by like sticking your head under your pillows, like actual pitch black darkness of being outside on a moonless night in the country somewhere, if you have the means, I realize that's not necessarily economically feasible for absolutely everyone watching these videos, but if you have the means and you can get out of the city a little bit and experience nighttime, if that's camping or something, in actual darkness. It's nighttime camping with starry sky and no moon's beautiful. Nighttime camping with a beautiful full moon is beautiful because it's like practically daylight. It's amazing, well, because it is literally daylight, it bounces off the moon, but nighttime camping with no light at all. That is absolutely petrifying and so cool. Also, I'm just like shaking right now because that expression of describing what just happened on the roof is like brought the memory back. And I also just got from the gym and I did pec day. And I'm like just kind of shaking all over here. And it's just so cool to get that, like the energy flowing through the body. Ultimately, what I'm trying to get at here is the process and the beautiful aspect of not knowing exactly what I'm getting myself into, but also experiencing these moments that are just pure magic as far as I'm concerned. And I mean that in the literal sense of magic. And my definition of magic, once I have the editing skills, I'll put this kind of stuff up on the screen. Once I have the definition of magic, it is a process that we don't yet understand scientifically. To me, that's what magic means. And that doesn't diminish it in any way. I think that actually elevates it. Because if we really think about it, my ability to record my voice and my image here on a device that fits in my damn pocket, and then wirelessly, so just over the ethos, send it to the gods at YouTube, who then put it onto a server so that you can watch it around most of the world, except for those silly countries that don't allow us to have free will. That's magic. Unless you understand all the steps in that process. Now, what's interesting about this little analogy, to throw a wrench on you people here a little bit, my background is in computer systems engineering. So I actually, not that I could with just no help, but I could create and understand, if someone explained to, the process of how the Wi-Fi works, how the phone actually works, how the LAN connection over the Ethernet works, and how that grid over our entire continent works, and how that grid is also connected to other continents. And I actually, from a human perspective and a technological perspective from 2020, have an above average understanding of that. I am not in any way a professional engineer, but I do have an above average understanding of that. Other than just the people that are like, yeah, it works and I don't care how, right? That's not to toot a horn, but that's just to give some context. I get the computer side of things, although there's aspects of that that are kind of magic and come at me, bro. But what's really neat is doing these human computer things where I'm literally felt this morning like I had an input of coded information that I can't quite even describe. It's not ones and zeros necessarily as the way that we do bits and bytes and binary and that kind of stuff in human computing, but it's astrological computing, and I think that is way, way, way cooler. And there's so much that we don't quite yet understand that we can just grasp a little. I don't know. I got that download and it feels literally like it's coming in through the front of your face, right? Like third eye, here, wherever you want to imagine it being. I like to think that it's more related to my eye, so it's kind of like down right below. But that like input of information was so visceral and so direct and so obvious to me that I can't even comprehend from my current state how someone could argue against this being a truth, a reality, an existence. Again, with my understanding of computing and with my basic understanding of astrology, there's so much data that would need to be involved in having a solar system, like holy moly, that combined together into this human form of being able to understand it and to just accept that we don't understand it at the same time, I think that's kind of Buddha. Again, not Buddhist. That's a religion. I have nothing to do with religions, although they are great learning tools of skewed understandings, all of them. Buddha is different from Buddhism, okay? To me, again, the Buddha, the idea of this entire transmission, this entire channel, is that we're finding the middle way, which is actually the most accepting way, the most, I hate to say it's the most accurate, because everything can be accurate depending on your skew, but it's the most like, I don't know, it's the most middle. It's the best one for me. And if you jive with that, let's try and figure out what it means. Because YOLO. And I don't think there's any real point other than trying to find that middle ground, that middle way, because it's kind of been my entire life. So there will be more content coming in with third eye related things. I'm going to share absolutely everything that I can. There's guidance coming into my life now that I don't even understand, but I love it. I'm getting tidbits, I'm having conversations now. I'm seeing flashes. Because if you stay to the end of the video here, I'm going to give you what I'm actually at on my third eye here. I'm seeing flashes of information. I'm seeing patterns, like fractal patterns. I had an episode the other day, or I call them episodes because it doesn't happen like constantly, where I was laying on my bed, my eyes closed, but it was bright out still. It was like the afternoon. And I just had these like circles that were appearing on like the underside of your eyelid, right? You see like shapes and little patterns. And one of them was like a crab, like a Cancer crab, like, you know, the little zodiac sign with little pins of t. And I'm a Cancer. And I really resonate with that kind of like, I'm in my shell, I'll pincer you if you come at me kind of dealio. I always resonated with that a little bit. And it was so neat because the Cancer crab turned into this like wheel of Cancer crabs where they're all facing outward, and then it like turned into this pattern where it was like solid in the middle almost, but all these little pincers were like going back and forth around the outside of the circle. It almost kind of looked like one of those I can't say it with the V word and the C word and the number 19 stuff. It looked almost like a little, you know, one of those little microscopic at the scale of 10 to the minus 9 guys, you know, that level of stuff. I can't say those things though because apparently YouTube will get mad at me, but you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. It looked like one of those and it was just kind of like hanging out in my eye because this stuff exists and we don't need to be afraid of it. It's just little packets of information. Process that one. Write your anchor comments in the bottom below. You know where that's at. If you disagree with anything, of course, here, because I love to see perspectives. If you have some agreeing comments, though, that would be even better, and we can have a wonderful conversation about what we think. If you want to as well, please feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, hit the like button, and we will continue to incredibly create massive amounts of data for the YouTube computers to process and have that sent out to all of y'all because we are Buddha and we are here to talk. And apparently I am transmitting an entity now. Peace.